Alright, let's talk about some chord progressions as it relates to composing stuff. Simple stuff like lo-fi beats. And one of the most common things they use is just simple diatonic progressions. What do I mean by diatonic? Oops. Stuff in the scale, okay? It doesn't matter what scale. We do E flat. And if you're making different beats, you don't want all your beats to sound the same, so I would recommend doing them in different keys. The little chord progressions and songs that you make up. Every time you make something up, don't always make it up in the key of C, or don't always make it up in the key of A, or whatever. So there are lots of things you can do with just those chords of a particular key. Let's take a simple one, right? 3, 4. There's a lot you can do with that. That sounds nice. And especially if you can get a common note, like have a common note holding, that sounds good. So in that case, over this E minor, or the 3 chord, that A is not a chord tone, but it does sound good. I can't do the F. Doesn't sound too good. The G is a chord tone over the 3. So I can use that one, because it's the 9 over the 4. Something like that. Okay, so that's just as an example of how you can use 3, 4. Let's look at 2, 5 now. Maybe holding it for longer, each chord for longer. That's something you can also experiment with. And I'm not doing anything really fancy, I'm not playing any G7 or I'm not doing any G7 voicing that doesn't use the notes of the scale. Only let's go to a different key real quick. I could do it the 2, 5. And then do 1. 2, 5, 1. So this chord right here, this is like our exercise we did. And you hear that? Let's go back to C for a second. You hear that in a lot of lo-fi beats. Super common, just a 2, 5, 1, only using the notes in that particular key. Okay, let's do another one. 1 to 4, which is very similar to the first one we did, 3 to 4, because 3, if we just put a 1 on it, then it's a major 9. Okay, so they're very similar functionally, right? But you could do 1. personally think this one sounds better on guitar, but and you don't have to play it in that root position. You can voice lead, so you could do something like, let me see, you can add extra notes. I keep forgetting my voicing for this 4 chord. But let's do it in a different key. E flat and A flat. So right now I'm just thinking melodically. I'm just hearing that these top notes form a little melody. E flat major 7. A flat with the 3rd on top. This is a chord tone of that A flat. Okay, that's in there. You know, whatever it is. So that's 1 to 4. Now, going back to the 2-5, you can also use a 3-6. Let me think of a different voicing for that. Probably want to use something like the fuller 6 chord. Like A minor 9. I like to put a 7 on the bottom. But like 3. Oops, that's not 3. This is what I meant to do. 3, 6. So, then you can start changing stuff a little bit so that it's not always in the key. Okay? So one thing you can do, like with the 4 chord, for example, like let's say you have a little progression like you know. So all I really did was I just repeated the same chord progression. 2, 3, 4. And I just kept doing that a certain amount of times. That's the 2nd time. 3rd time. And then on the 4th time, 4 is now a minor 9. So instead of F major, I'm playing F minor 9. And there are different you can like pick these different voicings that you like, whatever sound you want. So that's where we can start changing notes from being in the key. So now I'm using some black keys, right? To mix up the sound. Because, I mean, just playing stuff all diatonically in the same key, it can get boring if you do that the whole song. Sometimes, right? You want to spice it up a little bit. So with the 3-6, going back to the 3-6, So we can start using our knowledge of dominant chords to start getting some other things. If we want a 6, like a A7, we got to use that C sharp. That's where that C sharp is coming from. If this is my bass note down here, that's the 5, flat 7, 9, 3. Okay, so 6, 2, 5, and you could repeat that as a chord progression if you wanted, or do it the other way, or you could do it the other way, where you have the 2, 5 be first. Oops. What's that voicing? Yeah, I like that voicing. So that's where you start getting into your knowledge of diminished chords. Right? You got to know what diminished go with a dominant, right? So if it's A7, I got to take into account the chord tones. The 3rd, the 5, the flat 7, and I can make a diminished with those and use the flat 9 also. But then if I add the root up top, you know, then you start getting into more spicy stuff. Okay? And you can put a diminished on the 1, you know, like we've done before. Let's do it a little higher. You know, like that. Let's see, what's the voicing I like to do for that? You know, 1 diminished. C minor, 2, F, 13, flat 9 is the 5, and then 1, or you can think of it as 3, and then so anyway, that's that. Now, you can think about, because with those diatonic progressions, the progressions that use the notes in the same key, the chords of the same key, a lot of what you're trying to do is play different notes. Like if you're playing one chord, the point is, in the next chord, you should be playing a lot of notes that are different. So in this one, I got a D, F, A, and a C. Well, if I want to make a chord progression that sounds not boring, I'm probably not just going to do that. Because I have 3 of the same notes. D minor and F major 7. I only added the E and got rid of it. So I really only did this. A D changed to an E. But if I do this, now I only have 1 of the same notes. E, F, A, or what am I talking about? D, F, A, C, E, G, B, D. So that one stayed the same. Okay? So the point is you're trying to mix it up. And that's the same thing when you're doing stuff that's non-diatonic. So when you start adding other notes in your chords, or using chords that have other notes that are not in the key you're playing. Okay, so let's take an example. Okay, what's happening there? So I have 3 notes that change. So this bottom note goes down to a black key, this one goes up, and this one goes up. So 3 things changed. That's pretty good. Now, what is this chord progression? Well, it's a F minor. Or, my bad. What the heck am I talking about? A minor 9. And it goes to a F sharp minor 11. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Okay. Also, you can think about it as minor, A minor to A major. Okay. But I have the F sharp on the bottom. So, yeah, it's a minor, it's F sharp minor. But how I'm thinking about it is like A minor chord to using the A major scale. Or at least I see that A major shape in there. You could also do this, but going to, because what key is this? You know, A minor, aka C major 7. Well, we could change it to C minor. Like that. But I'm going to take into account the voicing I'm using, because I want a voice lead. Keep my hands where they are. So you see, C major 7, even though it's really an A minor, because I have these notes on the bottom. C major 7, and I'm going to change it to C minor, but again, I have these extra notes on the bottom of this C minor, and I put the 9 in there. Try to play it smooth. And I'm holding that D on top because it works over both chords. Okay. Then there's also brightening. So let's say we have 2 and 3 like we did before. Or did we do 2 and 3? I don't know. Okay, but let's say we got this chord progression. Right. Just regular. But I can't do that, right? I can't just move all the notes up because this note doesn't sound good. So I can use my whole step rule, right? Because this E is a chord tone, the F is a half step above. That's why it doesn't work. So I could use my whole step rule to brighten the sound. Right? So I could do that. And also, there's, with that, you could do a chromatic passing tone. Or a passing chord, my bad. Just you're just moving everything a half step down. I wanted to move everything down. And then you can change up the voicing so that everything is not root position stacked thirds. You know, you can do some of I'm still playing the same chords, but I'm just choosing different voicings, so that's not all stacked up like that. Depends on what you like, what sound you want. So yeah, and then there's one more I want to touch on real quick. That is a diatonic progression, and it is 2 and 6. So let's say I have a 2 chord. This is another common one. It's just a 2 chord. Let's do it in a different key. This is the key of E flat. I'm playing F minor and then C minor. Different voicing. For some reason I wanted to keep that F right there, but I could do it up here. I could do a different note. I could do the B flat. I could do the C. I could do the G, you know. So anyway, hopefully those are enough ideas for you to chew on for a minute. Okay, so take some time, go over each little progression. I'll list them in the description, and then you should do them in different keys. Okay, so like the key of A. Which one is that? You should be able to recognize it. It's 1, oops, and 4. Just do all the little variations, like 3, 3 and 4, all those things. 2 5s, different 3 6s. Always check your chords and make sure all the notes that you're playing in the voicing don't clash. Okay? Cool. So work with that and make some music.